Now we are too. Okay.
Alright, welcome back to Between Keyboard and Chair with me, Patinator.
And me, Bonzi.
And our guest.
I am Tim.
We're in his house today because I did not tell him where to go. That's
That's a story in itself.
Yes, I would make the joke, but this is actually the second recording and I don't want a fake laugh. So, let's go straight to what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about sci-fi, the Orville, Star Trek Discovery, or as many people know it, STD.
Goddamn.
It's not. They decided to make it Discovery.
That's true.
But let's start with how we all got.
It's TOS.
TOS is fine. TNG is fine. Tungo is fine.
What's for the Void? Void? Is it Void?
Void. Yeah, they didn't
DS9.
follow it because actually it's Void, DS9.
It's Enterprise.
Discovery is actually officially now DSC. So it's Star Trek DSC.
That doesn't even make sense. That sounds like a camera.
Yeah.
that is the file for old digicams. Right?
DSCs. Have you downloaded the new DSCs?
Yeah, but let's start by talking about how we got into sci-fi as kids, because everyone's had a different experience. Like for a lot of people, aside from the new Trek movies, which are contested at best, I can say that without being wrong. Not bar. For a lot of people, this is their first Star Trek TV show.
Yeah, that's true. It's the first Star Trek TV show in almost a decade, I think.
Really? What was the other one? Voyager was not just... fuck, that show. I forgot that.
Right? Bakula was like 2000s, early 2000s.
Thanks for ruining the franchise, Bakula.
Scotty B.
I remember because the three of us had known each other for almost as long.
Yeah.
And when in Tim's old room, there used to be this little poster. Well, not little, that infinite diversity, infinite combinations. Yeah. Because you grew up with Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's right.
Just for context, so Tim is the long-time, lifetime Star Trek fan. Pat came in when? Roughly
there was a summer when I was 12 when I didn't have any tapes and all I had was Star Trek for the Voyage Home. So I just watched that over and over again. And I thought all Trek adventures were like that.
Let's be clear though, I had all the tapes and I still watch Star Trek Voyage Home over and over again.
And I'm the new guy. I just came in on because I was a longer Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
My Trek experience was only late high school, early college. Yeah.
So what was the Star Trek out then?
First Contact on HBO.
The movies.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I'm
that was
sorry.
I
The
watched
TNG movie.
Yeah, I watched
with Bane. Bane was in
there. I watched what do you call this Voyager on the Hallmark Channel.
I should
It was
have
on
more.
the-
It was on.
Okay.
It was on at night, just around 11 p.m.
Okay.
But I didn't have an appreciation for it.
Yeah, because in that time, also around the same time, before you go to school, there was Andromeda.
Yeah, there was Andromeda.
Oh, yeah.
There was Farscape.
Yep, Farscape, right next.
Sometimes also at 3 p.m. when you come home from class, or don't go to class at all. But so we can say that we have a history of sci-fi.
Yeah, it's always been in the peripheral. For me, my sci-fi experience has always been either in stories or in books or comics or Star Wars. So my entry to Trek, the first time I appreciated it was watching it on HBO First Contact. Because wow, they have guns here.
Is that Borg?
Yeah, it's a Borg.
Time traveling again.
Yeah. So that was my first okay, I think I like this. So yeah, that's it for context. I like First Contact. I have one of my favorite Trek movies. I've seen them.
I just remember the gif of the guy just looking shocked at the screen. The Vulcans are here.
But the first attack sequence was pretty good.
Yeah, the Borg.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
Wolf?
No, that's Section 001. That's Earth.
Yeah,
that's Earth.
Right.
Wolf 359 was from TNG.
Oh yeah, I remember because Miles never stopped bitching about it, and neither did Cisco.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the first episode of DS9. It's you're from the Enterprise and I don't like you because shit went down. I'm also the darkest captain
Ever.
Jordy wishes he was as dark as me.
Jordy wishes he was cool as me. And he's pretty cool.
Yes, he's reading Rainbow. He's reading Rambo in a bad day.
Alright, so today that's our topic is we're talking about sci-fi on TV, particularly the tradition of Star Trek.
Yeah, and
its multiple successors. and spin-offs.
Which is weird. Like we're suddenly in a phase where like let's go back to the stars. I don't want to be on Earth anymore.
Yeah, because who wants to be here?
Yeah, see, that's what happens when you make Pluto not a planet anymore.
That's true. When you declassify Pluto as a planet.
Isn't he like the Roman god of war?
No, he's the Roman god of the underworld.
That's so much worse.
He's the best character in Roman and Greek mythology, one would argue.
What do you do?
He is the richest of them all, for one.
He's got me.
Yeah, he's the richest. He has a nice dog named Spot.
Oh yeah, because Cerberus is...
Yeah, Kerberos.
Is just a spot. Which is weird because he's never portrayed with spots.
Yeah, it's never, just 3 heads, like weird. And he has a nice wife.
Persephone?
Yeah, Persephone. And he has an invisible helmet, so that's nice. And he has not.
Does it make his head invisible, or like?
I think the helmet is invisible, so so people can hit him in the head, and they think they're hitting him.
I swear, most Greek and Roman myths are fucking bullshit.
They are. But one notable thing about him, he doesn't go into family drama.
Yeah, he just lets personified out for spring.
Yeah, like he doesn't get involved in any family drama except that when he gets dragged to it.
Yeah.
Compared to Zeus and his many
I'm gonna put my dick in it.
stories with his dick, and Poseidon's temper tantrums.
Yeah, because he didn't get Athens.
Yeah, so
which I always thought was named after Athena, but apparently no.
Apparently no, it's not.
It's an accident.
So anyway, that's the one. So okay, how do we start this, sir?
Let's discuss something that's easier to discuss: the Orville, because I mean, whatever.
Let's talk about Star Trek.
By not talking about Star Trek, yeah.
Because we've done this last sci-fi episode, Pat.
Yes.
We're supposed to talk about dark matter. We talked about killjoys.
Actually, here's a good baseline. If we're going to talk about the successors to Star Trek, let's talk about what we expect a Star Trek series to be.
Okay, alright. Okay. Oh no. Hey, look at that smile. Oh shit. Tim smiles like it's revealing everything.
Go ahead.
If I've learned anything since Enterprise came out, is you really can't expect what the Star Trek is going to be. Well, okay. Star Trek always used to be about exploration and new aliens and beaming down the planets, and depending on who the captain was, getting the girl, or but it's changed.
Okay.
It's changed a lot. Ever since Star Trek Enterprise came out, they started trying to get a new crowd. They started trying to get the younger people. They started trying to get a more action-packed series in it.
There were a lot of nipples in Enterprise.
There were.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of naked bathing, like decontamination.
Oh, that's what they call it.
Yeah,
decontamination.
That's something that you never had in the
first 4.
Well, 7 of 9 was a thing.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
Was a thing.
I feel like that's the reason I watched the Hallmark episodes.
Because
I really just did.
Ryan.
And I went there for the robot chick, and
you got
stayed
the
for the. No, but I stayed for
he was there.
He was there.
I didn't see that episode though. But I stayed for just the stories. Like there were some really good Voyager stories I enjoyed.
I mean, at the essence of Voyager, it's still exploration.
Yeah. Well, getting lost.
Yes.
Because on the way back this time instead of on the way out.
I guess that's the thing about Discovery, because even Enterprise, it was an episodic show. Right?
Yeah.
Discovery has a whole different format, at least for the first 2 episodes that's come out already. It seems that we have one large story.
So it's a serialized thing.
Yeah.
It links directly from the previous episode instead of next week on Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
So you mentioned Orville a while ago, which I guess we're going to talk about later on. But Orville is a very episodic show.
Yeah,
they set up the premise. They've set up the premise for the first episode, and in the next episodes they go to a different story and a different story.
But they're handoffs, though, right? Like there are a couple of handoffs.
Yeah, I mean, just
one episode.
One episode. Okay.
Just like the original Star Trek series, there is that sub-level story.
Yeah.
There's that sub-level story which you can follow. They develop it over the season, over the series. Discovery is just one giant story so far.
So it seems like it's one of those. Essentially, it's like a Star Trek movie cut into pieces.
Essentially,
right?
Yeah.
It's also very centralized on his story, Michael's story.
Her.
Okay. Is it her? Is it just a name?
Her. Yeah.
It's
Michael's
her.
her. Yeah.
No! Spoiler alert for me. Because fuck it, I only watched like the first 30 minutes of episode 1.
They called her Michael.
No, but I thought
But
like...
did they call her?
Yeah.
Alright, because... Wait, that's double confusing. Because... You know what? It doesn't matter. The point is...
Wait, Michael's the girl, right?
Sonica.
Yes.
Lost in the desert scene and
Yes.
And then I made a star, and I'm like, fuck you, you did. Fuck you. I mean, you did not go in that curve and made a boomerang.
It's a perfect curve.
You
by
could
the
have
way.
made any line at that point. You shit.
It's a perfect curve too. Like it was a really like accurate thing.
Yeah, but there's an increased focus on. Like this actually shows up in New Trek too. I think like there's more focus on, hey, how did Kirk become Kirk, or how is this going to work out for her, the person who caused most of the problems in the show, rather than what's new out there and what's exciting out there.
Yep.
There were so many gunshots in the first episode. Like holy shit! It's like that scene in Into Darkness where like the Enterprise got hit with more photon torpedoes than it did in its existence.
The entire run of.
Like there were so many
series. Over the course of like what 7-8 seasons?
Yeah, no 3 seasons. Toss.
Oh yeah, Toss that season. I thought if you included the NG run, like the entire run.
The Borg changes all of it. There are a lot of it. They cut shit out of the Enterprise. That's fucked up. So in that respect, it doesn't feel like a Star Trek show in its traditional sense, because there's less exploring and more just here's how we're dealing with the old Cold War metaphor.
Yeah, but is it the question? I guess one of the questions to ask is like, is it less a Star Trek show because of that lack of like exploratory episodic structure, right? Is it less of a show of a Star Trek show? Not like it's a show, like it can, it's like whatever you feel about it. Story-wise, but is it less of a Star Trek show because it doesn't have that particular infrastructure to hold it together? Are your feelings getting hurt?
No, this is just a landmine. You've heard fans before.
The thing is, it's the Star Trek show that... It's not the Star Trek show that people want. Okay, fine. It's not the Star Trek show that die-hard Star Trek fans would want, I imagine.
Okay.
But that's not to say it's not a good show. You know? It's
okay.
Actually, at least in my opinion, it's a pretty good show. It doesn't feel that Star Trek-ish, but if you took it at face value, it looks like it can develop to be a good show. It's a bit too early to say. By the time of this recording, 4 episodes in.
Okay.
So
I haven't checked the episode queue. I just like play.
So we don't really know. Although it's interesting, so far, not to spoil anything because we're not going to spoil anything here.
But at least we'll try not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Try to leave it as vague as possible, but it's interesting to see how they're starting, especially in episode 3, to make parallels to some concepts or things that you see in the Next Generation or Deep Space Nine. There are a lot of fan theories out there. There are a lot of fan theories on like what exactly Discovery is.
Oh, okay.
Because Discovery is a ship.
Yes.
But we knew that from way back. But we don't quite know what's the mission of Discovery.
Yeah.
Not in its entirety, anyway.
It's the third show that has the ship as the main title, right? Or the place as the main, like the thing as the main title.
The ship, the USS Discovery, appears in the 3rd episode.
Okay, and then Enterprise is also named after the Enterprise.
Yeah, Voyager and DS9.
And Voyager. DS9 is the station, so
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So going back to your question, does it feel like a Star Trek show? No. Is it a good show? It can be.
Okay.
So it feels like it's a Star Trek for a new generation. Like if you...
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have the history or the expectation of old shows, this works.
I didn't want to use the line because it's this is not the Star Trek that people necessarily want, but it might actually be the Star Trek that
we deserve.
need. Yeah, I was going exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
It might actually be the Star Trek that we need for now. Because it might pique interest.
I kind of get that.
If it piques interest, hopefully some people will latch onto it. Hopefully they'll go back and look at the old shows, maybe with the exception of the original series. But it might pique some interest.
Because I get that impression. Like, since I'm like the new West of the three of us, right, into the Star Trek thing, like, for me, it feels it has all the necessary parts of a Star Trek show, I think, so far.
It has the bits.
It has the bits, right? Like, it has all the... in the first 30 minutes, I've seen the ship thing, the alien planet thing, the whole, like, help other planet things there, the teleportation technology, like, all of those trappings of, like, a recognizable Star Trek like bits, right? But since I haven't seen the entire episode yet, it was hard for me to judge if it has the feel of the show.
Yeah.
But it does have the moving parts. Like, it's not...
It's like the parts that you expect to be in a Star Trek show.
Yeah, it's there. It's all there. Like, even from the bridge crew, like, you can identify, these are the...
Man, that bridge is sleek as shit.
Can I just say, like, it has... I think my favorite, bridge design for a Star Trek TV show.
Yeah, and yet they still explode for no reason.
Yeah, because apparently capacitors are nothing in the future.
Never seatbelts. And most of them are standing. No seats.
Can I just say that's the weird part about it? I mean, I understand like in the emptiness of space, like maybe you don't move a lot, but also like it seems a very dangerous proposition.
I'm pretty sure moving really fucking fast is like
but like because it's like there's no gravity necessarily pulling you down.
Like there shouldn't be like
a lot of movement, right? Like not can kind of compensate for that. But like, why don't they have proper seats?
Like it's still a vehicle, right?
Vehicles. I mean,
planes have like seatbelts.
Yeah, like in big ships. Like I understand, still have straps on them. Like. Like the Expanse has them right, I feel. Where they have like strap in kids.
Yeah, but like that's something that's going around. How other aliens must view human development on space stations. Like these are the humans. If we gave them 2 warp cores, they toss it into the sun like, to see how fast it would go. When they developed stealth technology in the original series, not the original series, sorry, I think TNG. They decided to figure out if they can get it to phase through a planet because they're fucking crazy. Don't trust the humans with technology, and that's why there are no seatbelts. That's why things explode, and that's why Vulcans know the word "fuck." It's like, this fucking guy, right?
This guy.
It's this fucking, and that's why Scotty, and like in the original series, that's why that was their first long range vessel, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Why was the human at the fucking engineering room? Like, we saw how the humans built and we didn't want any of this.
That's it though. Like that's I think in my head, like that's the only possible reason why we've succeeded and thrived.
These people are fucking crazy.
Like in an environment full of like advanced alien races.
Fucking Klingons, man. Those guys kill for fun.
Right?
I need a promotion. Get the bat lift. I'm gonna kill my boss.
I'm gonna kill my boss. The Vulcans are super smart and super tough.
Yeah.
Like
that's right.
They're super tough, right? And like humans are still like, yeah, we got this. Like that's an insane proposition. Like, yeah, we built our crafts with no safeties on.
We can go back in time again.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Klingon that went back in time? Because you will now. He was hanging out with Kirk for some reason.
Right, like we use like whales to do some space stuff. You know, whales, they have no concept of space.
Let's put that sound in space.
Oh man! So I guess like that's just how crazy humans are. Just stop listening to the feed.
My ears are warm.
All right.
Favorite part of Discovery so far? I mean, there's got to be a high point. It doesn't have to be the high point, just a highest point for you.
Best part about Discovery.
Oof, rough.
Man, I gotta think about that one.
How about you? Because I have none. My favorite part is like them walking in the desert so far. Because that's all I've seen.
I love the prey species. Like I didn't catch the name of the prey species.
The science officer.
Yeah.
Something like Selu.
Sicilian or something?
No, that's... Oh, I don't know the
That's
species.
Sicilian.
Sicilian.
Shit, I could go for a pizza. Yeah, cause like that's an amazing concept for an alien for me. We are bred to die. Like, what are you doing the ship? Well, you're an anthropologist. Like, what are you doing on a ship? Aren't you supposed to be training the next generation of anthropologists? In a cycle that wastes people's lives. I'm kidding. Anthropology is more useful than sociology, for example.
Whoa.
Or most English majors. Come on, who are we kidding here? If you're an English major, you're not working that degree. Shit. But like the prey species is an amazing.
Having fun yet?
Yeah.
Send your emails to
At Patinator.
Patinator@gmail.com. I'd like some good news.
So, you want something else than people telling you to kill yourself every time you do something good?
That's only in Dota. And only because I didn't learn how to support. I now know how to support the little baby bastards. Because they have to get levels and weapons. So I'm like, sure, are you fed? Here's your free kill. I've stunned it for you. Can you do it? And then when they can't kill it, I have to kill it and they complain. But I wanted the meal, Mommy. Like, As a Filipino, I can say this. Don't play Dota with Filipinos. We're all shit. We're good.
Send your emails and tweets to
At Patinator.
Yeah, I could use more followers.
That's true. Please follow. Okay.
Wait. So I don't want to talk about the best thing.
Alright.
Okay.
I want to talk about the worst thing.
Okay.
Okay, so we're firmly in your territory now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who the hell decided to use all the damn lens flares?
J.J. Abrams.
Is he still a part of it?
I don't think so.
I don't think
No,
he's
he's
a
like
part of it. Yeah, he was part of the original movies, but
It's
the new movies. But Jesus Christ, it's like in one scene, there are two people talking to each other for like a 1 minute segment, and they have to use at least 3 lens flares.
Where is light coming from?
It doesn't even matter. It adds nothing to the scene, but boom, let's have a lens flare.
Because Tim, like very much in the future, very much like capacitors, like lenses don't exist.
No, it's an alien race. We're also like in the scene. The lens flare race.
The lens flares.
That just
Lens
breaks.
flarings.
That just breaks the fourth
Fourth
wall.
wall, yes.
Because all right, lens flares. That means there's a camera.
Yeah,
That's
precisely.
So I like lens flares. I think they can be tastefully done.
Yeah,
They're not tastefully done in this show. Man, there shouldn't be lens flares
do you think
in
that was-
space.
Do you think that was used like unironically? Do you think? Because I get a feeling.
There's a scene later which kind of makes it feel like a big joke.
Because I feel like it's a big joke. It's like we know
when the Klingons first engage. Like everything goes white for a while, and I feel like that's
fair
their big
enough.
joke.
That's
but
true.
Even as a joke, it's not funny.
Because like when the first Abrams movie came out, right? Like everyone was like shitting on it for the lens flare use.
Hey, I actually like the lens
So
flares
do
in the
I.
original Star Trek.
But that was a
fine.
criticism, right? There was a lot
Sure,
of them.
yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe like this was like, you know what? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
No.
They wouldn't have done it in some very dramatic moments. It was distracting.
Yeah, it was. I mean, even episode one. Episode 1, I distinctly remember a scene where I'm not entirely sure, but there was a conversation on the bridge talking about how they were going to defeat the Klingons, or how they were going to. There's a beacon.
Right.
And how are they going to go to the beacon?
Yeah.
And things like that. And during that scene, there were 3 lens flares. It was a conversation
In the room.
and there were 3 lens flares.
One for each person in the conversation. It represents the symbolism.
It's proportional to the people in the conversation.
Yeah, the bridge scene was crazy. It was like a disco.
It's too much.
You'd think they would have solved that problem already by now.
Yeah, but they haven't sold capacitors, so we can't ask for too much.
It's not even capacitors. Why would the ship getting shot on its left side blow up the control center?
I don't know.
Like,
I'm not an
channel
engineer.
the energy into the cockpit. It makes humans stronger.
I just realized what I like so much about the bridge. Have you seen that panoramic view
Yes.
screen?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
god,
Beautiful.
that was amazing.
I think-
Better than any other Star Trek
Yeah.
ever done it. Which makes you wonder
Why did
Why
they,
they've
like
done
why did
it.
they get rid of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, they went back to 40-inch TVs later.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's like a big screen. Like,
That is an amazing screen to look at.
I think that's one of the reasons I like the set so much. Because when you always see it right from the perspective of the windshield, right? Like
Yeah.
That's how you shoot it, and then you switch camera angles. Like, oh wow, that's a big, nice panoramic view.
Yeah, but
So pretty.
that's the sickness of many updated shows. Like, technology which shouldn't be there, but we've
Yeah.
thought of it now.
Yeah.
Which is probably why they shouldn't have made a prequel, but whatever. That's a different story.
Do you want to talk about that one?
What? That Star Trek, a story about discovery and moving forward, talks about the past a lot.
3 times the last 3 series.
Wait, actually, I don't
3
know. I don't know.
outtakes.
Is this original universe or New Trek universe?
No, this is original universe.
One would assume original universe.
No, yeah.
Then why are we going backwards?
But
In
even
the
if it
original
were-
universe.
But even if it were, it still happens before Kirk's Enterprise story.
Yeah, but they don't even go to the important parts, like first contact with fucking Klingons.
Yeah.
To be fair, they've said. Correct me if I'm wrong. Send your emails to Patinator.
She'll get all the Trek hate. I love it.
I could use the contact.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the way that they're going to format Discovery is season 1 is going to be this story. Season 2 might have an entirely new cast with an entirely
Oh, wow.
new ship.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they're going.
Oh.
That hasn't been confirmed, but that's what they were talking about. I think at the beginning.
It's like a American Horror Story.
Exactly.
Anthology
So
type.
they might be going that direction.
That's interesting.
So who knows what timeline we're gonna be in the next season?
I do hope it's like past the whatever last story in the universe.
Now that's what most of the Star Trek fans want.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Just-
supposed.
I don't know. We have time traveling torpedoes for courtesy of Janeway. I mean, they lost their fucking shit at the end of Voyager. Like, future Janeway was helping past Janeway get home. That was fucky. And then,
but how?
I don't know. Future
Science.
Janeway was still crazy. I think Tuvok was living in a cave or something.
Oh, Tuvok.
What? The only black Vulcan.
Yeah.
Which is a nice segue into the funnier part of the two sci-fi shows, the Orville, which is very Seth MacFarlane.
That's fucking smooth. Well done, sir.
If you point it out, it's not smooth.
Well, this
You ruined it. You son of a bitch. Sandpaper smooth, if you will.
but continue.
Salt of the earth.
For your complaints at T1 Broad.
A lot of people are saying that it's more Star Trek than STD. I refuse to call it DSC. It doesn't even roll off the fucking tongue. STD, that's...
Yeah,
Call
that
it
one
that.
I've seen. I've seen the first 4 episodes of the Orville.
Thoughts?
You're up to date.
Yeah, I'm up to date.
I've only seen episode 1 and 2 in full. Did a bit of episode 3.
In full.
Yeah.
3 is what sold me on it. A lot of people have said that 1 was... It's a pilot. You don't expect great things out of a pilot. You watch the House pilot. It's like, House was acting nice, like, and you never see him act nice again.
I think there are like the two main kinds of pilots a TV series can have. One is a really solid one that like from the get go you know this is going to be a great show.
Like, it's a really clear defined...
Yeah, it's well defined, well acted, well produced. Like you can see the magic why it was picked up. And there's a second kind of pilot where you see like
This is just to get something. Here you
picked
go.
up. Yeah, like they clearly tried to find their voice. Like it's not bad. It's entertaining, but it's not.
It's clearly
great.
different from the other
Yeah.
episodes.
And usually those, like, if you give it enough time, it will grow. Parks and Rec was one of those shows. The pilot was like meh. The first season was meh.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
It was a very different Leslie Knope.
Yeah, and then you watch season 2 and like okay,
Michael Schur really found his voice.
Yeah, so like there's some. I think the Orville is particularly one of those kinds of pilots where he was clearly making it based on what the network's impression of his content will be.
A Family Guy.
Yeah, like because people forget he produced Cosmos.
Yeah, he produced a lot of stuff.
Like the science remake with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
Like he produced that show, and that doesn't ring anywhere near a normal Seth MacFarlane, except for maybe the one episode where they went to the bear's vagina.
That makes sense for him. That's
Like they chose a bear, they went its vagina. It's like, here's what the bear's vagina looks like.
wonderful.
Wait.
But
But like the important part is like at one point they decide Neil deGrasse Tyson decides to go into a bear's vagina.
That, you know how many people that sort of shit has to go through? Hello, gentlemen. We need your funding for bear vagina. Yeah, sign off on that.
I think it's on Netflix. I should check that out. Because
Yeah, I think that's episode 6. I think.
And I guess if someone's picking up a Seth MacFarlane title, they'd expect something Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah. Because episode 1 has all the markers of a Seth MacFarlane show.
Yeah.
It's like Family Guy in space.
yeah.
Right?
I actually really like episode 1.
It's not bad.
Yeah, and in that it introduced me to the context harder than Star Trek Discovery.
Right.
That was the problem I had with
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
the first 2 episodes was like, okay, bad things are happening, but why do I care? Because bad things can happen in any show.
Right.
Like, why do I care about this specific bad thing?
Why should I?
And there, it's like, I'm already invested in this guy who's, it isn't the spoiler, it's the first 10 minutes of the episode. They're like, oh, his wife's cheating on him, what a dick.
Red hand. Sorry, blue hand.
And
Spoilers.
then he fucking, and then his career goes down with shitter.
Yeah.
And that guy from Legends of Tomorrow / Alias is there as his boss.
Victor Garber.
Who is a great actor, by the
Victor
way.
Garber, man. Oh man, I love that guy.
And-
More and more.
And there, I'm invested in the story of this schlub, which it turns out isn't the story of this schlub, because the next few episodes, it's a legit exploration
I think
series.
because you get the impression the first maybe 10 minutes of the show that it's a story of like a
Schlubs in space.
Schlubs in space, like a guy who is like a Michael Scott,
Yeah.
right? Like a guy who just got gifted an opportunity and way over his head and like trying to balance things out. But like by episode 2, like yeah, he's a competent captain.
Even in the
I get
first
that.
episode, like everyone, like I can believe that these people deserve to be on the ship.
It's just that the first episode they were playing that he was like super bitter about the because that's a premise that they set up, right? I think if anything, my issues with episode 1 lie on the fact that a lot of the humor in episode 1, the jokes were easy.
Yeah.
They were all low hanging fruit.
Yeah. Very Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, it's like all low hanging fruit. It's like I know it's funny, but I'm not compelled to laugh.
But this is where the laugh track would go.
Yeah, but you know where they'll fit, right? But I think it's also something to say about the strength of its cast. I feel.
Adrian Palecki.
Yeah, and also the minor cast. Like I like the banter between the navigator and the pilot, the helmsman.
I like that they had very reasonable requests. Can I have a drink on the bridge? Sure. I was like, why didn't Sulu or Chekhov ask for that? They're at that fucking helm for hours. Like, they're not robots.
Long
And I bet
shifts.
Kirk also had this like anti-Klingon cup or something like, they killed my son. And then the other one's a con cup.
Yeah, so like I think episode 1 is very different. I mean, if you haven't seen the episodes, I don't think episode 1 should color your impression of that show.
For me, it's like episode 3. 2 is when it starts telling you what kind of story it is. 3 is like, here's a tough issue and we're gonna talk about it.
Actually, yeah, I'm most surprised by 3. Like I thought they went for the easy one than that one.
No, holy fuck.
Like they tried to, and it was a very weird, like controversial. Like if it were handled properly, episode 3 is something that will get you a heated review.
Yeah, it can kill a show.
It could kill a show. Because if you haven't hit episode 3 much, right?
No,
Like
I've been like for the first 5 minutes of episode 3.
They talk about in metaphors like gender.
Yeah.
That wasn't a metaphor. That was literally what they were talking
That
about.
was
I mean,
the
like,
premise of the show.
Gender and race almost, and like culture, cultural relativism.
Culture and how you impose your ideas.
Yeah, so like it's a lot of those big concepts they try to roll into one. It's simple to have like just one of those issue, and that's all. They're all dangerous as single issues, but they try to roll it into just one giant thing.
But it's done so well.
But
and
they
that's
did well.
Star Trek right there.
Yeah,
I mean that's what not every episode, but that's what
they tried.
Star Trek tried to do.
Yeah.
Even in Enterprise, you know, there are a lot of people out there who would say Enterprise should never have existed, but they still tried to do it there.
Yeah.
Then it's just in the new Abrams movies and then in Discovery that maybe we're getting there, but you don't see it just yet.
I feel like the Abrams movies were necessarily that kind of movie. It's come to my after watching enough of the original movies, like from TNG, right? Like I feel like the Abrams movies were necessarily that, because I don't. If they need to reinvigorate the franchise,
if it's just about getting attention,
I'll tell you what though. If it was just about getting attention, they failed. I mean, no, because they have so far there are no plans whatsoever of making a new one because the third one completely bombed.
Yeah, I know.
So,
but sabotage. That was a great moment.
Yeah, it was a good moment.
I mean, it wasn't very Star Trek. It's like we tried to redo Khan again. I guess.
No, but right. I mean, I think that was the intention behind those movies. That's why they don't feel a lot like what we understand as Star Trek movies.
It's weird because 3 was also the most Star Trek.
They tried to be
because there was an attempt at answering the question what is my place in the universe?
But when they kind of escaped in 2. 2 was I think the
2
one
had RoboCop. What the fuck?
2 was the risk that didn't pay off.
And then he declares himself Khan to nobody giving a shit.
Yeah. Like who? Well, should that matter? Is that him special?
Lest we forget him transporting from Earth to wherever the fuck he was with technology that nobody talked about again. There was no, that's clearly bullshit because somebody would be talking about this.
Yeah. It's like the whole declaration of my Wisconsin yeah, nobody gives a shit.
I love that Spock was we should talk to other Spock. I think this mattered somewhere else.
Yeah, I think this mattered somewhere else.
If he didn't say that, they'd have no idea.
Harrison, right?
Khan, Mr. Khan Harrison. Weird name. Related to the singer, to the Beatles? No?
Right, it's one of those. It was the attempt that didn't pay off. It was the risk that didn't pay off, I feel too.
No, I don't know about risk because that was the safest move they get. How do we get new Trek and old Trek together? We'll bring Khan into it and then make him shout his name. And then we'll switch Kirk and Spock. And then we'll revive Kirk in the same movie instead of waiting 2 fucking movies to do it like people with nuts. Because you don't kill Spock and bring him in the same movie. You bring him back into the third movie, which is shit, and then bring him back. Search for Spock was horrible. I didn't want to see horny Spock.
Maybe that's what they fucking learn, right? Nobody liked to see horny Spock, and nobody wanted to see their search for Spock. Let's do it in the same movie. Except let's just undercut all the fucking drama we built the entire 2 hours prior.
And there's a very jarring moment when Kirk dies there, where Spock is just immediately mad.
Yeah.
There's no he doesn't internalize it, and I remember this scene in Wrath of Khan very clearly, where Kirk is slumped against the clear glass with Spock's dead body on the other side, and you see him, he's just fucking broken.
Yeah,
he internalized.
It took a while.
It sat in him.
Yeah,
and here's just Spock's I have an excuse to be angry. Yes! Fuck you, Benedict Cumbersnatch.
Kapla!
Who's the Klingon now? I'm the strongest one. Oh shit, where's my girlfriend? Khan's beating the shit out of me. Wait, Khan's a super, genetically improved human, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Khan. In both, actually. In both.
That's true. Genetics and shit.
Why was he stronger than the Vulcan? Oh no, he's half. That's right.
Yeah, he's half.
Star Trek's continued obsession with putting humans into Vulcan situations continues. Because
Discovery.
Discovery. The main character was in a Vulcan Science Academy.
Okay.
And they were like, sure.
You qualify.
I don't know why though. She was through a traumatic event. Better bring her with the people who will tell her to suppress her emotions.
An entire society based on that.
Send her to the Romulans. She'll be fine. Those guys are crazy. They're like angry Vulcans.
They are angry Vulcans.
Hey, aren't they? Because that's always been my impression of Romulans.
Same.
It's always just like...
Are they angry Vulcans?
Yes.
See?
I mean, they're basically Vulcans that don't control their emotions, I guess.
So angry Vulcans.
Angry Vulcans.
Okay.
Who hate humans.
Oh, there's that extra thing.
Who doesn't? I mean... Wait.
Send your emails to Patinator.
Earth is in charge of the Federation?
I don't know how we got that, but
no.
It's a coalition.
Yeah, the Federation is basically it was started... Oh, God, here we go.
Oh, sir. This is why you're in this episode.
It was started by 4 species, which are...
Grasshoppers.
The humans, Andorians, Tellarites, I think Tellarites, and the Vulcans.
How come we've never heard of those other two?
The Tellarites are like...
Yeah, the Andorians are the one with the little antenna.
Oh, that's what you call them. Okay,
Yeah.
alright.
I know that from Star Trek Online.
And
That's right.
basically, they elect presidents
Okay.
every few years.
Did we as in humans?
Like democracy. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because that works so well.
Yeah, so well.
Utopia.
Have the humans successfully subsumed command of this thing?
Well, the Federation headquarters is in San Francisco, so... no, that's Starfleet.
That's Starfleet.
That's the Academy.
I think Federation headquarters is in Paris? I'm not sure.
Okay, so it's not... Wait, France?
Paris? Yeah.
Not a star system named Paris?
No.
Paris, France.
The Earth is the seat of power of the Federation.
How?
Who did we screw?
Whose cock did humans suck? To get that sweet, sweet deal.
We could get into that, but that's pretty long. That's historical.
Historical.
Think of it as the U.S. The U.S. became so powerful because...
So that's why the UN is in New York, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just leave it at that.
Alright. Disappointing answer as expected, right?
Well, I have a question though. I mean, taking those two things, like taking Orville, taking Star Trek, taking the fact that they are in 2017, you have these new shows.
Right.
The last few shows. Well, no, okay. You have things like The Expanse as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've seen The Expanse.
Best.
I've seen season 1. I haven't seen season 2.
2 is the
better?
best.
Yeah, it is great.
So fucking great.
With those things, I'm sure there's a lot more that I'm forgetting.
Yeah.
I mean, the most recent I can remember is Battlestar Galactica, and that was way back.
Yeah, that's right.
But with those things, where is sci-fi going?
That's a good question.
Well, there's a lot more depth of choice.
Star Wars,
for-
actually,
yeah.
just came out.
There's a lot
Blade Runner.
because Dark Matter, although it was recently cancelled, we talked about this recently.
Killjoys is love though.
Killjoys. The Killjoys. There's a lot. It's no longer. I think there should be a distinction because they're not necessarily sci-fi. In that, that's.
I mean, yeah, X-Files actually was considered sci-fi.
Yeah,
right?
Because
So
it posits
Black
a
Mirror.
question. If you go back to the definition of what a science fiction story is or a speculative, it poses a question and how we would deal in spectacular situations. Right now, it's things in space, not necessarily sci-fi.
Sci-fi.
Operas, yeah.
It's like science fantasy.
Like Star Wars, not sci-fi. Not really. It's more a fantasy story with laser guns.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's great. Don't kill me. I mean, or try. I could use the physical contact. But
Don't. I need
No,
another.
okay.
I need someone on the podcast.
Star Wars, Killjoys. While the concepts are spectacular and they become more sci-fi near the end.
Yeah, by season 3 they got more sci-fi.
At the start, it's jackasses in space, like jackass bounty hunters in space. The Expanse, that's sci-fi.
That's sci-fi.
Not just only in the hardness of their sci-fi and most skill, but because it's a concept of people living among the stars and who's really a human.
Yeah, and like the question, there's a lot of like big questions asked in The Expanse that not every story set in space tries to ask.
Yeah,
like from the get-go, The Expanse is very like deliberate.
We saw fairly recently the remake of, I don't know if you've seen it, the remake of X-Files.
I haven't, but I want to.
We've seen, Orville is out now, Discovery is out now. Is there still room for an episodic sci-fi show? Because X-Files isn't, I don't think it was episodic. Well, no, sorry, it was.
It was.
But there was still a much larger overarching story, which is the same as the original Star Treks.
Okay.
But is there room for a purely episodic show using that format? I guess with Orville, time will tell, but what do you think?
I think, yes. I mean, I don't think episodic is the concern, honestly, of the format. I think in a matter of is TV or the TV watching audience ready for a sci-fi that asks questions? No. Because a matter of episodes, it's just like it becomes what Legend of Tomorrow is. Essentially, it's just like a villain of the week,
adventures in time and space, but nothing in space,
right? So, like episodic, I think is the secondary concern. I think episodic is just a matter of will people want to watch bottle episodes every now and then?
Well, we have to separate it into two questions: the format and the idea of a sci-fi show, like a hard classic sci-fi show. So hard classic sci-fi for me will have room.
Yeah, I think that's yes to both, except that. I mean, that's why the episodic thing it's not so much of a concern. Like that's just a matter of producers deciding on how they want to tell the story.
The episodic part is where I disagree with you.
Okay.
There's a lot of demand on myth arcs now, which is when it's serialized, there's always a bigger story happening. Yeah. There's a lot more demand for that. There's another show of A Good Place where it seems episodic,
but it builds
to one of the. Do never Google it. I recommend that you watch it, but never Google The Good Place. Yeah, because it's one of the best experimental shows I've ever watched. It has the guy has nuts for even proposing the project, because a lot of people should say no, and that's what people are looking for. They're looking for payoff. Yeah. And in some senses, we're living in a golden age of TV, where if we see something that has one season, it won't pay off because whatever long thing they're doing, it's not gonna fly because they got canceled. So fuck that, I'm not gonna watch it. I can choose to watch something else.
Yeah.
Instead of being their nightmare. And since there isn't a lot of sci-fi that is asking a question, there's room for it. But the episodic part might kill it. Because you're not gonna draw in the binge watchers. You're not gonna draw in the obsessives.
Right.
It has to be more tightly packed.
But yeah, I mean, I get that. But there's some people who quite enjoy the accessibility of episodic shows.
Yeah, you can jump in wherever because there's no pressure to start from the beginning.
And besides, there's always an option to kind of stitch in a few episodes together to form a stronger arc, right? Yeah. A smaller, stronger arc. So yeah, I mean, the bigger question people should be asking is are they ready for a thinky kind? I hate saying that term, thinky sci-fi, but essentially that's what we're looking at, right? Because it's either a lot of times it becomes sci-fi under the guise of a different genre. It's just this is an action show in space. Yeah. Right? It becomes that. And that's not sci-fi per se. It just looks like it.
That's how I was saying Overwatch is a shooter, but it's not a traditional shooter.
Yeah.
There's actually different mechanics at work.
Yeah. Rainbow Six is the shooter version of Dark Souls. You just keep
I'm shaking my head. Send letters to this fucker. Look at this fucking debasement of our culture.
Rainbow Six is good.
It is, but he can go fuck himself. That is not Dark Souls.
I guess I'm just bad at Dark Souls.
Look, this is no gatekeeping, but finish the game first. Then you can talk shit.
I'm really not good at it. So the frustration levels are same to me.
Actually, it's just pattern recognition. There's nothing that makes you better at Dark Souls than pattern recognition. That's it.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm bad at the fucking.
Because everything does the same thing over and over again.
But a Cuphead. Sorry.
It's a good game, beautifully animated.
Yeah, I saw it. It's really like very classic.
People almost ruined their lives for it.
Yeah, but that said, I think it's like, but it's a hard question to ask, right? Like to answer, like, are people ready for that kind of sci-fi? And I think the most practical way to go about it is just see if they are.
Marvel's gonna prove it,
Right? Like, I mean, like, try is my reaction to that one. Like, Battlestar didn't seem like it was going to work because it was not like a traditional space-based show of that era.
But Battlestar was also at this weird point in TV where, before there wasn't that many myth arcs unless it was sweeps, because you couldn't expect someone to catch the show every week. Because before, like, you missed the show, well, fuck, you're not gonna watch it again.
Right.
But like, you saw stuff but Battlestar was in that weird part where people were downloading stuff already. Things were getting recorded onto CDs, so you can share it, you can read it, you can watch it again. So longer arcs were permissible. I mean, you saw the start of that in later treks like DS9 and Voyager, where the first part of the season is just hijinks on crazy space. Later on, it's those pudding people again. Like, what are we gonna do about the pudding this time? Cisco's a god now? What? And you have long paying off Kyle Paga was fucking crazy though. But like, that bitch was crazy.
They said that DS9 is the tightest of the first set of shows in terms of like story.
I like it the most personally. But I can't say that it's like the best. Because I think TNG only really hiccuped at the last part.
The first and last.
The TNG only hiccuped at how they closed their series. I'm looking at an old recording. Fuck you! Give me something definitive aside from Picard sails into space or something. Do I want to be a captain? Nah. Stop being a bitch, Riker. You handsome motherfucker.
How about you? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, going back to what Pat said, yes, BS Battlestar Galactica. Well, when that came out, it was a different time. Technology was changing. You know, people were downloading it, getting it off iTunes, downloading it illegally, getting it off of DVD, getting it off of Blu-ray. Now it's different. Now you have things like Netflix.
Yeah.
Now
it's on fucking demand.
Yeah, everything is on demand now. And look at the original programming that is made by Netflix.
Yeah,
they release 10 to 12 episodes all at once, the whole season.
Yeah. It's designed to be binge-watched.
It's designed to be binge-watched. And because of that, they can get away with episodic in a way. Because, like, look at shows like... as a matter of fact, some of the... I wouldn't necessarily say most popular or more popular, but some of the ones that are receiving acclaim are Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Black Mirror is a very interesting show.
That's a sci-fi show.
Yeah. It is a sci-fi show, and every single episode is different.
Yeah.
Another show now, it's not exactly sci-fi, but it's a very experimental show, is Room 104.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
It's Room 104 is...
Sorry, diabetes.
Diabetes break?
Room 104 it's like a show that every single episode, it's 22 minutes, half an hour long with the ads. And nothing is similar in every episode, with the exception that all happens in one motel room, Room 104.
Okay.
And essentially, think of it as it's a one-act play.
Yeah.
Right, with different characters every episode. It's very interesting. Okay, admittedly, some of the episodes I find really boring.
Of course, the weak ones.
There are some episodes which are just purely experimental. One episode, the entire episode was dancing.
Wow.
It was just dancing.
Wow.
So it's very strange. But anyway, going back, Netflix has allowed shows like that to come to fruition.
Yeah.
And that's why I am kind of confused with Star Trek Discovery, because Star Trek Discovery is also the pinnacle show of a new service, CBS Access.
Yeah.
CBS Access was created basically as an on-demand service, just like Netflix, but specifically for CBS shows. Does it work? I don't know. We don't have access to CBS Access. Unfortunately, actually, people in the US, they can't watch Star Trek Discovery on Netflix.
Oh, because it's blocked by CBS.
It's only CBS.
Yeah.
Star Trek Discovery is available to us
we're so
here.
lucky.
Yeah, a lot of that's happening, even with Disney pulling out stuff from Netflix.
But the model is sound, and it's changing the way that people view TV.
Yeah, it's really redefining what TV
It
is.
sounds so dirty to say. Like it's redefining something, but it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
But again, with that said, because that's there, because I can click on episode 1 and then automatically go to episode 2 and then stop.
Yeah.
And the day after or 2 days after, I can continue with episode 3 and keep going. Episodic's kind of becoming a little less attractive.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, why...
The conceit for having
Why not have the whole season?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just gets less and less.
And that's why traditional television, in America at least, you have your NBCs, you have your CBSs, and they're still trying the somewhat episodic, some of the most popular shows in America: Criminal Minds, CSI, Modern Family.
Here's the thing, though. Like, at least for me, I think there's space for episodic shows, just because.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, like in this particular like new format of watching, it's because, like you said, like Black Mirror and Room 104, there are ways to push what episodic structures should be.
That's
right.
Very true. Yeah.
Like I think it just becomes boring and unsaid because they're still following the same formula. It's a different context. Episodic before was based on how TV was used.
Yeah.
But I think because of this new kind of thing, it's just a matter of like adapting to the situation. I think there's still a lot of creative room for episodic shows, and clearly there's a lot of room for highly serialized shows. And that's why I think for the most part, the thing to consider is like, are people ready for another, for Star Trek, like or that kind of like show?
Statistically, well, not statistically because I don't have the statistics to back it up.
Yeah.
But historically, anecdotally, wow, there's a lot of E words. Mm-hmm. Anecdotally, in times of more hardcore world crisis and unsettlement, people tend to drift towards the more
Yeah.
I mean, that's when Lord of the Rings got huge.
That's right, early 2000s.
And I mean, 2016 wasn't so great for anybody, and then Star Wars.
Yeah, that's right.
And The Expanse Season 2, and Dark Matter Season 2. And I mean, it's not like it's a particularly rough part of history we're living in. People like to, trot out that entire, we're in the most peaceful times of history. Well, in a generic sense. But if you look at its specific instances, that's not true. I mean, Jesus, have you looked at Africa? Holy shit! But, so yes, because in the most turbulent time, when people are looking towards the stars and making jokes about how I don't want to live on this planet anymore, yes, something spectacular will have a place.
Yeah.
As long as the questions are relevant to today, which is what I appreciate about the Orville. It's another problem I had with STD was, aren't we done with the Cold War allegory?
We should,
because it's Klingons again. It's like a Cold War that's not ending in the Berlin Wall coming down. I don't know if that's how history went down.
Is it because we're still yes, it's the Cold War allegory set up again, but is it because, essentially, at least for America and a lot of the world, aren't we back in the same situation though? like the whole
Doesn't
threat
matter.
of nuclear winter against communist nations.
Doesn't matter.
Like, are we in that same situation again?
Well, yes, it's again. But here's the thing: that works on a. But they didn't even tell the same story differently. It's Klingons again. Like you can make anything up. And they went backwards in time and did Klingons again because they're bereft of creativity. Or somebody up there was like, I don't want to try anything new. Do the Klingons. Kirk hated Klingons, and I like Kirk. He had sex with Orion slave girls. I don't think he actually ever did. But don't quote me on that. But, and that's what I like about the Orville. I mean, whatever you think of gender issues, they talked about it. They talked about problems that people are making important now. And whatever importance you personally put on it, the fact is someone discussed it in, I'm not even going to say meaningful, because the story of the first episode was tight on its own.
Yeah.
It presented a problem and put it into action.
And a solution.
Yeah, and it's not just like, this is bad, okay, but here is how it actually would be if you talked about it.
Which is why I like the setup of the conflict there. Yeah. Like, it was a spoiler alert. There's a judge involved, and it's a courtroom drama essentially.
I felt for that drama. Like, I wouldn't want to be in anybody's shoes in that.
That's tough. That was a tough courtroom to be in. I'd rather watch like Wilson Fisk acquitted again.
And the 5th episode discusses time. They finally get into some crazy shit in the 5th episode.
Time?
Yeah.
I knew it. That was my suspicion.
They discuss something about that, and they resolved it in a way I think is very Star Trek.
Okay.
In that it's actually very Picard how they handle it.
Alright.
Not even Kirk.
Kirk is like, bam!
Which is weird because he didn't actually do it that much. It's just modern Kirk being more action-packed. He didn't have sex that much. He was a big fan of consent, which is weird for the 60s. No offense, we're all fans of consent here, but those were the 60s. Times were different. People were crazy. That was a lot of cocaine.
Cocaine was like legal and shit.
They got so much fucking done. Holy shit, the music. Holy shit. And now we get Lemonade. I mean, it's a good song. I guess if you're written by 16 people.
That's true. Alright. Wow, we're over an hour. Okay. So how do we kind of resolve this? There's nothing to resolve.
Well, here, if it's I mean, we can't even put it to a judgment and look back at our points
really
because we quickly asserted that Star Trek is different. It's not a bad show, but it doesn't feel like a direct successor of what Star Trek fans expected. Well, the Orville is millennials in space.
Millennials in space.
God damn! Mel Brooks is getting a lot of money off that. But
Mel Brooks, man.
Jews in space. Which, have we had one in space yet?
One could assume.
In fiction.
For sure, in fiction.
Zoidberg is, I think, Jewish.
Okay.
He's a Jewish shellfish. I know. I don't think they ever got over that joke. And while Orville might have a lighter take on things, it's still not dodging its roots as what it should be, which is a sci-fi story.
It is a tribute, though. It's clearly a love letter to Star Trek.
Yeah, even the cinematography, the face.
Yeah, everything about
I think
it.
that was his intention, right?
Yeah, I think that was intention.
The madman did it. And so, if you want an angry ending to this, you ain't gonna have it, because both shows actually deserve some watching.
That's
it
true.
might not be your jam, especially with how lighthearted the Orville is.
And we're not even trying to be PC, though. It's just that's how it is.
They're reasonable shows to watch.
They're very different shows.
Yeah, and there's room for both, because we're consumer animals. Let's buy iPhones, but that's okay.
Hey, you want a great conflict?
What?
Choose one.
Orville. Because
Not because they're both good means I won't choose one.
that's all.
We
choose
just
one.
destroyed our noise gate right there.
Sorry, kids.
Mine is Orville because it's funny and serious, while Star Trek Discovery is just serious. Like, when everything is fucking dour, nothing is dour. It gets boring, I stop giving a shit.
Okay.
Bunsey?
Okay. That's tough. Because I've not seen enough of Discovery.
Okay.
Right? But knowing what I've seen so far, I give it to the Orville a little bit, and I hate saying that because honestly, coming in, I wasn't expecting to like the show. I was honestly ready to just dismiss it, and because the first episode reviews were not kind, not all kind. Some of them were, but it wasn't like unanimously good. Some of them had harsh criticisms, which I think were like from people with different expectations of the show. So there's that, like, but right now I am impressed by the writing of that show. They're very different shows, as we've clearly said, and I think because it comes from intention. I have the impression that the Orville comes from, can I make a tribute to classic Trek, and Discovery was, can I introduce Trek to a different kind of audience,
to a new generation.
Yeah, so the mindsets are very different coming in producing the show, right? Like, why would you make an action like single story kind of format? First time ever, I believe, in any Trek show, TV.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's like one full, or at least it looks to be one full solid story for one season. Like, why would you want that? That's how this generation of watchers like their TV. Right? But the Orville's very much like, let's bring the magic of the old, see if we can make it for new. So like the intention of both shows are very different, and they kind of show. But right now, because I haven't seen enough of Discovery, but I've enjoyed the first 30 minutes I've seen it.
Mostly desert.
No, I got to the point where they got to the artifact when she saw the Klingon. Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert, everyone!
Oh yeah, those are Klingons. They just look really fucking weird.
They do look weird.
I didn't know that's how Klingons look like.
They don't look like that. Well, okay.
Well, they have smooth Klingons and they have genetically modified Klingons.
See, this is fucking shit. Okay.
I mean, technically that is supposed to be in their history, but it's pretty confusing.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's one.
How about you, then?
And so right now I'm choosing the Orville because like they got balls in the writing staff. Like, can I just say, like, episode 2 was. I thought episode 2 was like a Q tribute, which I think still is fairly quick for a Q episode, which apparently was not.
Nope.
But like, I like the whole like newbie in command drama, and then episode 3 just hiked the moral questioning, and episode 4 was really like strange but wonderful at the same time. So like I think there, if anything, the criticism is like episode 1 is not indicative of what the show is. And 2, it just, there's some parts where I feel like they're checking off like tribute boxes. Where like, I'm gonna do this kind of episode, and then that's that kind of episode, which is not bad.
The bad guy from Nemesis was there.
Inspired Liam Neeson makes a cameo. So
he does. It's kind of cool.
Like they have like really big names for cameos. Like episode 5 has Charlize Theron.
So it's like Family Guy.
It's literally like, if Adam West was alive, I bet he'd be there.
Probably as Batman.
As Batman, like old tiny 60s Mayor Batman. So right now, if I have to choose Orville, he gets it. Sir.
I haven't watched a lot of Orville. Like I said, I've watched episodes 1 and 2, a little bit of 3. I'd probably still choose Orville. Right now, I'm preferring to watch Star Trek.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Because I find Orville, again, because I haven't gotten to the places that you say it gets so good.
Yeah.
But I find Orville to be a very entertaining show, but it's still really rough. While it feels like the story is very slow on Star Trek Discovery. Right?
Oh, okay.
You know, from episodes 1 to 3, it feels like so much has happened, but nothing has happened at the same time.
Very decompressed. They take forever to make a decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like episode 1 alone, it took forever just to make a decision and move the plot forward.
That's a good point. Like the whole what do we do with the artifact?
It seemed
thing,
very
like,
talky.
I wouldn't have minded, except what we decided didn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah. Now with
futility.
With that said, though,
Starship futility.
I feel. All right, let's just let it sound like a bit of a cop out, but I feel like Orville is what I will like because I'm comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
But Discovery actually has a lot more potential. And it has a lot more potential for itself, and it opens. I won't say it opens new doors to sci-fi, because new sci-fi doesn't need doors. You know, it's just gonna happen.
It's a big space.
It opens some interesting new doors to Star Trek. So,
okay.
So yeah.
All right. I guess that's it, right?
I guess. I mean.
Okay.
I mean, we could always just we can talk about
other stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that's it for this week.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks, Vim, a lot for joining us today. We'll probably have more of him around in the future episodes.
I'd love to.
I feel like that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, I like this chair. I can spin while we're talking.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed with the audio, like Pat's been drifting farther and farther away, like a fucking meteor.
First of all, okay, I like that. I can be a meteor.
Would you prefer like an asteroid?
An asteroid is crashing into the atmosphere.
Oh, that's where a meteor it is.
Wait, no, meteors in the atmosphere.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, that's it. See you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.